Human Excellence, the Meditation Day. In this talk, I try to explain from the neuroscience perspective, especially, and how meditation helps in the manifestation of, these inner qualities. This is what I'm trying to discuss in this talk. Shall I start? So in almost all religious texts across religion talk about human excellence, especially about the intrinsic qualities that we possess. For example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna expounds the very many capabilities of human being. He says Narendra, he addresses a human being as Narendra, a fine specimen of the rational and critical spirit, and are efficient in the investigation into the truth of the external world of nature, uplift themselves from all that is dismal and evil. So he is capable of, he is having various executive functions, various decision-making capacities that help himself, to avoid all these, to uplift themselves, himself from that is dismal and evil. Same way, Bhagavad Gita explains about this, the superior creation of human, and at the same time Bhagavad Gita also reminds us about the responsibilities that Bhagavad Gita says human is the superior creation by the God and who has various responsibilities towards all living beings and to nature itself. And human beings are social, responsible beings and are expected to show judicious behavior who honors the ethics of life. So here in this present day, this is very relevant that a life embedded with ethics and morals are very difficult in this present day scenario. And also, I'm reminded of Gandhiji saying that Gandhiji says, whatever you do, that should be very useful for the society. Even the weakest person in the society should be getting help from this, whatever you are doing. So these are all, the visions of these visionaries who has embedded their life in ethics and morals. And Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is a visionary. In most of his talks, almost all his orations and talks, he is inspired to talk about the ignited minds of the youth, and that is the most powerful resource on the earth. He says that the ignited mind of the youth is the most powerful resource on the earth. And he says that that will bring, such ignited minds will bring about transformed humanity by meeting its challenges and being peace and prosperity. So you see that all these are talking about these intrinsic qualities of human being. We have, the greatness of the human creation itself, and the inner qualities as well as the intrinsic qualities as well as the virtues. The very many virtues we are possessed. Whereas in the present day education system, if you look at, these intrinsic values are not embedded in the present day education. In the present day education, the education enables the students to empower themselves in the area of their chosen field of profession. That's all. But suppose if we have the system, in which the philosophy of this human excellence is being embedded in the education system, you are providing the youth an excellent opportunity to understand the greatness of human excellence. And that helps him, to develop new concepts of confidence. And that helps him even to face the challenges and face as well as overcome the challenges of challenges that he meets in his life. So we are just by imbibing these characteristics, we are producing a very excellent, a wholesome human being. So that's all about human excellence. Human excellence is all that about making an integral, a wholesome human out of an ordinary human being. And it is a journey of self-transformation towards true selfhood. So human excellence is very important towards developing great leadership and overcome challenges. So these are all highly relevant. As long as mankind is there in this world, these are all highly relevant. And Swami Vivekananda, he talks the philosophy of human excellence almost in all his, like the whole work of Vivekananda. If you read, you can see that the philosophy is explained extensively in these books. And this quote itself, you just see that teach yourself, teach everyone his real nature, call up the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. So now we need to only know that what are the intervention tools that can help, to rouse this sleeping soul. And Vivekananda talks about education. Education helps in the manifestation of perfection that is already in you. So education is one of the important tools that helps us to manifest to a certain extent some of the aspects of human excellence. And now in the present day situation, if you look at most of the universities, most of the institutions provide courses in human excellence. And there are many intervention tools are available, especially psychological tools like mindfulness training, positive psychology, stress management, self-management. There are many intervention tools, but nothing is like intervention tools like yoga, because yoga helps in expansion of this excellence in all dimensions. So that's the beauty of yoga. And perhaps that will be the reason that, like yogic techniques have been introduced thousands of years ago in ancient India as one of the ideal tool to explore or to achieve body-mind harmony. And thus yoga is a total science of achieving body-mind harmony. It helps us to manifest the capabilities in all dimensions, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual dimensions of our life. Thus, yoga per se helps in self-discovery, self-development, and self-perfection. Thus, yoga is an ardent, this is the position is in the seventh limb. And I'm just giving you a working definition of meditation. That meditation, it is a state of absorption of the mind in order to heighten awareness and bring mental processes under greater control. That means meditation is an intense sensory, emotional, and cognitive experience, and that enhances all our mental capabilities. So mental capabilities. So now yoga practices are in general influence the body and mind, and it enhances mind-body awareness, enhances self-regulation and emotion regulation, and definitely it brings a physical efficacy. So physical self-efficacy, psychological self-efficacy, as well as mind-body awareness. So so it can influence all the dimensions, and what are the behavioral outcome? So the behavioral outcome in general, we can say that meditation promotes relaxation, enhances positive affect, regulates negative affect, better coping and satisfaction in life. So this is, see, if anybody starts meditation, practice of meditation, within a short duration, maybe 6 months of meditation practice, we will achieve all these. All these we will be experiencing. But later you see that if you continue meditation practices diligently for a longer time, you can see that it brings all these behavioral qualities, like it enhances mind-body awareness, enhances mindfulness, that is very important for attention awareness, concentration, cognition, and enhances self-social awareness, enhances self-regulation. It brings emotion regulation, stress regulation, resilience, equanimity of the mind, and psychological self-efficacy. Excuse me. As well as physical self-efficacy. So you can see that in general, yoga brings body-mind integration, and through the development of, and that helps in the manifestation of human excellence. So now, in my talk, this is the nutshell what I'm going to talk in today's class. My talk. So meditation brings a lot of short-term. These are the short-term effects: promote relaxation, positive affect, reduced anxiety, reduced anxiety and stress, improve attention, cognition, and overall well-being. And along with that, you can see some concomitant changes happening in the brain. Especially it enhances the brain synchrony and coherence, and other biological functions, enhancing hormone regulation, immune functions, and so on. Later, you can see that long-term practices through the qualities, through various phenomenal qualities of the brain itself, that is the plasticity and cognitive reserve capabilities, it is able to enhance all, it is able to achieve all this. So what are the plasticity, cognitive reserve? My previous speakers have already explained all this. Plasticity is the inherent capability of CNS, or brain and mind, throughout life. That is, it has the capacity to reorganize the brain circuitry as a result of experience. That means you can change, the brain can change the connectivity and thought processes, and even its strategies as a result of experience. And also cognitive reserve, like usually we say that we use only the 10% of the brain's capacity for our day-to-day life. So that means we have 90% of the brain's capacities in reserve. So now these practices, especially meditative practices, enhances these, utilizes this reserve, and thus make the brain more resilient that it can efficiently utilize the existing neural network or recruit alternative networks and to maximize the performance. And also anatomical variability at the level of brain networks. That is, the network properties itself can be changed as a result of experience. And that is what we are seeing here. So when there is long-term practices now, when I say long-term practices, it is you will be putting almost more than 7,000 and above hours of practice. And it is not only just practice alone, it is a proficiency. How serious you are, how regular you are in doing the practice. So the meditation proficiency as well as long hours of meditation experience enhances brain resilience, and it also enhances it brings efficient network processing. So that means definitely if there is efficiency of network processing, leads to enhanced attention, cognition, and various other behavioral processes. And you can see that, so these are all happening in the system, but you can also see the changes in your own behavior, changes the perspective on the self itself. You can see the development of positive self-representation, more self-esteem, higher acceptance of oneself, sense of freedom, deep concerns and love, enduring happiness, sympathy for others, empathy, and other altruistic behaviors, and well-being. This is not seen, I think. The bar, no problem. So here, when I talk about the well-being, I'm talking about the well-being here as well as I'm talking about the well-being here. So short-term effect also you are able to achieve higher state of well-being. So here we mention about the hedonic well-being actually. So that means the state of happiness. Whereas in this case, well-being means you are achieving all these, higher acceptance of oneself. So it is a growth, personal growth. We are talking about the personal growth and various higher mental attributes or capabilities. So think about that. Well-being, can be referred in different contexts. The meaning will be different. Now, so in this now, I will be just giving you now examples how meditation practices, how long-term meditation practices especially bring resilience. So there are few studies I will just bring here to show that meditation experience is associated with increased cortical thickness. That means brain undergoes physical changes actually. You can see structural plasticity, structural changes, especially in terms of increased cortical thickness. And most of the studies have shown that these meditation practices enhance right prefrontal cortex executive functions, that attention, memory, decision making, and so on, and enhance the cortical, thickness of region called anterior insula. This is the area. Insula is associated with interoception, that is subjective feelings from body and emotional awareness, performance monitoring, conflict resolution, and so on. And other areas associated with the emotion regulation. Similarly, studies have shown stress reduction correlates with the structural changes in amygdala. So amygdala is an area associated with emotion processing and emotion regulation. You all know, yesterday Ravindra has talked at length about amygdala. And amygdala is highly sensitive to stressful events. So stress, amygdala is related to regulation of stress and anxiety. And meditation, when it brings stress reduction and other negative effect, you can see a changes in amygdala structure itself. There is a reduction of the structure of the amygdala. Then there are studies to show that the fiber tract, this meditation enhances fiber tract integrity. White matter changes in the anterior cingulate, as well as enhance brain connectivity in long-term meditation practitioners. So when there is a fiber tract integrity, definitely it enhances the information transfer of information and also information processing. So you can see that there are structural changes that enhances brings some resilience in terms of function of brain. Now let us see that what are the functional changes. So if it brings these, what are the functional changes you can see. So meditation practices enhance brain coherence and elevated brain connectivity in the areas of attention, cognition, emotion regulation, social cognition. So you can see that there is a greater integrity of areas because of coherence, connectivity of different areas of the brain in long-term meditators when compared to short-term meditators. So here in this case, they have shown mainly the theta integrity actually, theta synchrony and coherence, and also greater integration of resources involved in social skills and awareness of the environment. They have seen better coherence in temporal regions, and especially including hippocampus. Hippocampus is important for awareness of the environment. So you see that these meditation practices, you see that how it brings the changes slowly, the practices, how it alter the brain structure, then function. Then you can see the changes, the behavioral transformation in you. So this is another example to show that meditation practice enhance synchronized oscillations. So the brain oscillations become, towards the low frequency oscillations. And these low frequency oscillations are actually the indices of meditation practice or meditation proficiency itself, like theta synchrony. Theta synchrony is seen, theta synchrony, some of the meditation techniques, studies have shown, reported enhanced theta synchrony, and that is associated with internalized attention and blissful experience, enhancement of purposeful attention engagement, mental quiescence and emotion regulation. So you see that theta synchrony. So when the brain shows enhanced theta synchrony, it means that it is, and I mean, it is highlighting that we are achieving this blissful state of experience, purposeful attention engagement, mental quiescence, emotion. So theta synchrony is an index of meditation proficiency actually. Studies have also shown theta alpha synchrony, 6 to 10 hertz. That is associated with sustained attention, awareness, positive emotion, feeling of happiness, enhanced self-regulation, a decreased self-referential processing, and enhanced objective stance towards oneself and others. So you see that the transformation again happening in self itself. There is a total transformation happening from, I can say that selfishness to selflessness actually. Then alpha is associated mainly with that meditation practice. So when you are engaged in meditation practice, you can see alpha activity, 8 to 10 hertz mainly. And this alpha activity is associated with enhanced internalized attention. So meditation enhances internalized attention, and you can record the EEG, and you can see this alpha activity. And this alpha activity is also is an index of sensory blocking. So you can see that alpha. So when alpha is there, it is an indication that he is into a deep internalized attention. He may be meditating, and he has shut off all his other external awareness. And then you can see alpha. So alpha shut off all the sensory processing, and this process is called as sensory gating. So alpha sensory cortical gating is also another example of intense meditation practice, especially during meditation practice. And definitely gamma activities, gamma synchrony is associated with self-awareness, attention, and cognition. And you can also see gamma alpha theta synchrony, theta beta synchrony. So you can see different types of brain synchrony associated with meditation practice, and which indicates different functions actually. This is just to give you, this is from our studies. We have carried out, this is from our Vipassana meditation study. We have been doing meditation, neuroscience of Vipassana meditation in the past few years. And this is an example of EEG from a novice meditator, from a beginner of meditation. And this is, you can see that enhanced EEG oscillation in the mainly in the frequency range of 6 to 10 among the senior meditators. So you see the difference just by looking at the EEG only, one can just make out that the differences in EEG from that of a senior meditator, how it is different from that of a novice meditator. So here these senior meditators demonstrate highly oscillated, highly synchronized EEG oscillations. In this case, it is mainly in the frequency of 6 to 10. And we have also seen, this is also very important, I just wanted to mention that. So during meditation, we have seen, and we have seen this theta alpha range, that is 6 to 10 hertz throughout. It has become a background continuum of the entire brain function. Like you can see that it is during sleep, we have observed during waking, during cognitive task, during meditation, during rest. So all these you can see that this is already set in the enhanced synchronized activity. So brain is now moved from a highly desynchronized state to a highly synchronized state, especially towards low frequency oscillations. And we have also observed some changes, so beautiful, like when they are into Vipassana meditation. This mindfulness meditation has 3 steps actually. When they practice meditation in 3 steps, like initially Anapana, then continued with Vipassana, then end up with a kind of loving kindness called as Metta Bhavana. So, you can see that Anapana and Vipassana are cognitively intense meditation state, because you are internalizing your attention is increasing, your awareness is increasing. There we can see enhanced alpha. Whereas when you are entering into a Metta Bhavana, you are generating, lot of positive effect and generating loving kindness to oneself as well as to others. There you can see that this particular state is emotionally intense, and we see a lot of theta activity around 6 to 8 hertz. so you see that depending upon the type of meditation what you practice, and you can see these changes in oscillation, and also very they are adapting, changing these oscillations so fast, and they can achieve that particular state fast with that particular brain synchrony. This is another example, just a minute. This is also from our study, just a minute meditation, rapid voluntary conscious state shifts in long-term meditators. So this is among Brahmakumari's Raja Yoga practitioners. And you see that meditation adaptness, they have the adaptness to shift their state from rest to meditation state for a 1 minute duration, then again come back to rest state. You see that, so they are entering into that meditation state with a concomitant change in the EEG oscillation, with the enhanced theta power. So these are all examples of brain resilience and network efficiency. And there are studies. This is very interesting study, regulation of neural circuitry of emotion by compassion meditation. This is a study of Tibetan meditation, compassion meditation study, effect of meditative experts. So most of these studies are of long-term meditators, more than 16 years of meditation proficiency. And in this study, they have observed, Davidson group, they have observed meditative practice foster altruistic behavior. You see that. So compassion meditation, that is transforming your neural network efficiencies, even neural network properties in a different direction itself. And that helps in cultivation of positive emotions, empathy, compassion, together with enhanced activation of insula. So you see that here, there is enhanced activation of insula associated with this meditation, and that is associated with these mental virtues, that is compassion, empathy, positive emotions. And also there is a concomitant stress reduction correlated to reduced amygdala activity. You can see that amygdala activity, there is a reduction in the amygdala activity, and enhances loving kindness when the joy of others is perceived. So you see that it's so beautifully, when the meditator watching somebody's joy, it enhances loving kindness, and it lit up this insula. And compassion with the suffering of others is perceived. So when you see somebody's suffering, you are perceiving that it is as yours, and you can see the concomitant changes in these regions. Even also there are mirror neuron concepts. So you can see that there are so many changes that is happening so rapidly, so efficiently, and you are also able to experience this emotion very effectively. And one of the principles of Mahayana Buddhism itself is that your salvation. See, that is also part of the human excellence. I'm just sharing with you that others' salvation is my salvation. So you are working for others. So that is how, with that attitude of the mind only, you will be able to achieve these kind of higher mental attributes, as well as you will be able to foster altruistic behavior. And this is also worth reading, Making a Life Worth Living. This is also among the Buddhist meditators. And they have observed, they have carried out the EEG studies, and also studied the compassion and positive, effect in these meditators. And they have observed that even though there is an enhanced prefrontal cortical activation, they have observed these are associated with the enhanced left prefrontal cortical association. That is an experience of higher levels of well-being, self-acceptance, positive relation, environmental mastery, personal growth, and autonomy. So all these are associated with both hemisphere, both prefrontal cortical association, prefrontal cortical areas, but more precisely on the left. So there is you can see that hemispheric asymmetry associated with the cultivation of these higher attributes. This is a study from our lab. What contributes to well-being gains? Proficiency or duration of meditation related practices. This is also, we have carried out a field study on more than 1,000 Brahmakumari's Raja Yoga practitioners. And we have observed a beautiful correlation, a positive correlation between well-being and meditation proficiency. So we have had questionnaires based on the proficiency of meditation, proficiency in spiritual study, meditation experience, spiritual lifestyle, virtues, and so many things. So you can see that one can study this. You can just you have to design an appropriate. You have to plan an appropriate design, then carry out the study. You will be able to understand many. You can unearth many aspects of this well-being, or many aspects of the meditation induced changes in the brain as well as in the behavior. So in general, meditation enhances awareness, attention control, emotion regulation, conscious response. So when meditation is doing all these, you can see that meditation becomes from an effortful state to an effortless state. So meditators become proficient, and the proficiency is achieved in this between effortful meditation to effortless being, actually. And that is associated with so many changes: enhanced awareness, enhanced attention control, emotion regulation, and definitely that leads to enhanced self-regulation. So this is in the nutshell. And so definitely there are areas associated with attention control, emotion regulation, conscious response, awareness. So now you see that meditation, it is, I can say here, it is like a panacea for everything. Like, you can see that it brings very appropriate changes in very specific regions associated with that particular faculty. For example, attention, it is associated with the anterior cingulate cortex, insula, prefrontal cortex, and all, whereas emotion regulation. So you see that it is not that when we talk about the plasticity or brain reserve, it is not that meditation brings an indiscriminate enhancement of brain activity. It is not that. Meditation enhances brain activity in areas which are associated with that particular, like meditation. It enhances so that that is essential for enhancing the awareness, enhancing the attention, enhancing bringing the emotion regulation, bringing the self-regulation, enhancing your awareness, and so on. So this is the beauty of meditation. It is not that it is just bringing an indiscriminate changes in the brain activity altogether. So these are all about the brain resilience and the associated changes that you can extract from this technique or meditation technique, or these inner virtues can be, manifested through meditation process. So in addition, I would like to just mention about meditation also brings proper sleep organization. You know that sleep is very important for health and well-being. And we all would have experienced that even one night sleep deprivation, will cause, reduced attention, awareness, enhancing confusion, improving our, increasing the fatigue and mood instability, and so on. So sleep is very important for health and well-being, and meditation practice helps in establishing a proper sleep organization. We have observed that in senior meditators, especially, meditation enhances slower sleep duration, REM sleep duration, and reduced the intermittent awakenings. And also this is accompanied with other biological, process, like we have observed enhanced melatonin levels. Melatonin is very important for maintenance of sleep. It brings sleep efficiency. So it enhances the sleep efficacy. And also it is very important for the maintenance of REM sleep. So you see that and also we have observed that it brings a very beautiful autonomic modulation during sleep. And this autonomic modulation is very important for cardiorespiratory function. We have studied only the cardiac function, and we have observed that it enhances the parasympathetic predominance during sleep. So when there is a parasympathetic predominance is an index. It is an index of heightened relaxation, actually. And so during sleep, there is enhanced relaxation. It is, it ensures very relaxed sleep state, like with reduced heart rate, reduced respiratory rate, reduced blood pressure, reduced body temperature, reduced metabolic rate in general. It is it ensures a hypometabolic state. And also it reduces the cortisol secretion. So you see that it brings this real hypometabolic state by means of parasympathetic predominance. This is during slow wave sleep. Whereas during REM sleep, in normal situations, you can see an sympathetic surge, an enhanced sympathetic surge. And this sympathetic surge can also sometimes can be even dangerous to the patient. To the people, especially those who are having cardiac problems. But here we have observed is there is enhanced sympathetic. Along with the enhanced sympathetic surge, we have observed an enhanced parasympathetic activity, and thus it brings a proper sympathovagal balance during sleep. So you are not allowing the sympathetic activity to go up and bring all this derangement of cardiovascular functions. Then there are studies to show that meditation in general enhances the release of feel-good hormones. These feel-good hormones like serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, melatonin. And these are very important. They have got various psychophysiological and cognitive attributes like reduce anxiety, improves coping skills, enhance positive mood, enhance motivation, attention, cognition, enhance overall quality of life, sociability, empathy, compassion, cultivation of positive emotions, and mitigation of negative emotions. So you see that meditation, just one practice, brings or manifest these qualities using different routes, different mode of functioning actually. Thus, in general, meditation impacts cognitive functions, consciousness, self and affective processing with its ability to induce various aspects of plasticity and cognitive reserve. It brings a high neurocognitive metaflexibility to carry out a wider range of cognitive function, self-development with compassion. So this is, so we can see a total transformation inside out is possible with meditation. So now this is the last slide of mine. So what are the hallmarks of a meditative brain? This is what I talked. It enhances, meditation enhances brain resilience. It brings greater emotional balance. It enhances efficient network processing. I didn't talk this in length because yesterday Dr. Ravindra has given that at length. Enhances activities in the frontoparietal network. That is the dorsal ACC, anterior cingulate cortex, anterior insula, intraparietal sulcus, and rostrolateral prefrontal cortex, and interact with the central executive network and salience network to bring the sustained attention. Changes in perspective on self. That is, generates insight into nature of self and reality, development of higher mental attributes, higher acceptance of oneself, and so on. Expansion of consciousness, definitely. It enhances meta-awareness. It heightened the awareness of experiencing consciousness for a sustainable period. So you can see that even any human being, anybody, who can also enter into a meta-consciousness, who can experience the content of the consciousness for a short while. Whereas a meditator will be able to, experience the content of consciousness for a sustained period. So that is, so yoga and meditation in this context, from a neuroscience perspective, it is an ideal tool to cultivate human excellence. And I would like to remind you that in this, especially now the COVID days and the post-COVID days, definitely these kind of understanding, help us to find a new meaning in our life, actually, lifestyle. So I take the opportunity to thank you for your patient listening, and you are all welcome to ask any questions. If I am not able to answer in this session, definitely you are encouraged. We will be sending you the answers maybe shortly within a week. Thank you so much. And so this is, I think we are coming to an end of the session. We are coming to an end of the webinar series itself. Thank you so much for your patient listening. It is reported in your studies. Okay. Structure change. Yeah, the questions are very, very, very nice. Some are very good. See, for example, I will just please let us know about quantifying well-being, which is reported in your studies. See, well-being, what is well-being? Well-being is a construct that we derive at that particular, construct from many other facts, actually. See, so, you should have a clarity of mind, what you should be studying. And not only that, for example, we all study, especially India, we have the possibility to study tradition-based meditation. So each tradition has their own, values. So, and this meditation is embedded in that. So we have to really see, for example, if I'm asking a question to a Brahma Kumari's meditator, I should make questions based on that tradition, to understand well-being. So, and also meditation, each different meditation influence brain in a different way. I have just given you an overall scenario, So when it comes to a particular meditation that brings cognition enhancement in a different way, and accordingly it brings the degree of well-being also in a different way. Okay, so we cannot generalize that. And in our study, so we have made questionnaires based on that particular tradition. Because it is a spiritual organization, so we have asked their knowledge in that spiritual advancement, and their proficiency in meditation. See, proficiency in meditation is also very, very important. How serious you are taking up this practice is very important. Suppose if you are just for the sake of somebody, or your mind will not be very happy to do this. If you are doing that in that state of mind, if you do meditation, definitely it cannot make much impact. Whereas if you are very committed and passionate about meditation, then what you will do, you will be meditating and very effectively, and you can see that progress in you. So somebody has asked, what is a good time to meditate? There is nothing like that. So it's all depend upon you. What is your attitude towards life? Accordingly, you can meditate anytime. And a meditator, actually, you cannot say that he comes out of that state anytime. A meditator will be meditating, whether he will be engaging in task or engaging in work or engaging or taking rest or even doing meditation. You can see that his mind is in a meditative state. So there is nothing like any time. What are the effects of short time? That and all is not that very relevant. Yeah, can you please share some references to understand physiological changes in meditation? There are many scientific books available. I may be sending you these details. There is one recent book published by Dr. Shelley Tellis. I will send you these details. Can structural changes of the brain happen even if meditation is started at the age after 65 years? Of course, sure. Because plasticity is a phenomenon that is inherent in our brain throughout, in our CNS, I can say central nervous system, throughout life. So it is any time of your lifetime, if you want to do meditation, and you can expect changes, and you can also achieve whatever you wanted to achieve. You will be able to experience these changes even if you are taking meditation after 65 years. For example, our own study, we have studied the sleep organization among old age, between 50 to 60 years, not 60, 65, 70, 80 years, up to 80 years we have studied. And we have seen a beautiful sleep organization among these old meditators, among the senior meditators. So age doesn't matter. And so that means, and whereas sleep undergoes an age-associated changes, especially in the quality of sleep as well as in the structure of the sleep. But you can see that it maintains that sleep organization with enhanced sleep, slow wave sleep, enhanced REM sleep, and with reduced intermittent awakenings. through guided meditation, can we get benefits? Definitely. That depends upon the kind of practice, what kind of benefit you get. Depends upon the the technique actually. So I may not be able to tell you that what kind of. See, for example, if you are doing Sahaja yoga meditation, it induces various. You can see that the impact on the brain functions, especially it enhances cognition, and it brings that blissful state with an enhanced theta activity very fast. So that each depends upon the meditation tradition. I think I will stop here. There are not much. Okay. Some more. Is it possible to change extrovert introvert personality by meditation? Definitely. Meditation, that also depends. See, for example, why you are an extrovert, why you are an introvert. First, you have to see that. So you have to have a basic understanding about, this. Okay. Even I can just bring that to see, for example, the leadership. Now, because we are talking about human excellence. The leadership, there are different types of leadership. You have inspirational leaders. You have dissonant leaders. Dissonant leaders are brute. They are very selfish, very egoistic. Whereas our inspirational leaders, they inspire their people. When they inspire their people, they gain confidence. The people gain confidence in the leaders. When people gain confidence, they are more committed. Your work output will be more, and you are also taking care of. Like you give that impression that the leader is there with the people. So you see that how that relation develop. That is an inspirational leader. Whereas an dissonant leader. So dissonant leader is, you can say that they are more about, they think about their own excellence and their own selfish motive, their own egoistic, ego satisfaction. So they don't come in from that realm. And why? The neuro leadership studies are now, becoming very popular, because now the neuroscience can provide reasons, understanding towards all this. You can see that in the dissonant leader, you can see that their capacity is very less. See, for example, in the case now, I have told you that meditation enhances. See, I'll just bring that. Yes, this one. Meditation enhances awareness, attention, emotion regulation, these things. Whereas in those leaders, the dissonant leaders, you can see that this many possibilities are not possible in them. They have very limited capacity. So there is a kind of narrow-mindedness in them. But now I would say that now we talk about brain plasticity, brain cognitive reserve capacity. So the leadership is not hardwired, So you can expect, you can transform a dissonant leader to a resonant leader, that is an inspirational leader. So these are possible. So definitely the same principle holds good here also. Only thing is the effort should be from you, from your side. Then definitely everything is possible.